Welcome into another edition of the Big Dog Show with my guy, Marcedes Lewis. I'm David Kaplan. Marcedes has a special guest here as we're taping this on New Year's Eve. It's all brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers and the great people at Ankin Law, 312-6 million for Howard Ankin. Davante Adams, star of the New York Jets, longtime Green Bay Packer, also a Raider, is your special guest. Marcedes, you two guys played together up in Wisconsin, had a lot of success against the Chicago Bears. What's it like playing with that dude? Because he's a hell of a route runner, man.
Yo, you just had to introduce it like that. Yo, first off, I'm going to just say this. He's not just a star in the NFL, but he's a star in life. And he's somebody, obviously he's younger than me, but he's somebody that I look up to. Not just on the field, but off the field, the way he carries himself. And I think that was a big component that kind of like drove us together to being as close as we are, was just the way we handle our business. And like I told you before, Cap, and I tell you till I'm blue in the face, in this league, the ones that do it the right way, the ones that kind of fill in the gaps of how to be a professional on and off the field is directly correlated to how you feel about somebody. And my first 12 years in Jacksonville, I didn't like, it was Maurice Drew, Fred Taylor, and Dave Garrard, right? Like those three were my guys, but I didn't necessarily go out and spend time with those guys. Like we just kind of connected at the facility and on the field. So when I went to Green Bay, in 2018, it was like one of those situations that like I had admired Tay from afar, just from his work on the field. That's all I had known at that time. But then when I got there and I realized like, yo, he sees the game like I see it. He cares about his craft the way I do. And he's my favorite receiver, one of my favorite people, and does it all the right way. And so it's just been a blessing. Obviously, here we are now, what is it, 8 years removed from the first time we met. And I consider him a brother, and I'm just grateful to have him on the show. New Year's Eve, let's get it cracking, man. What's up, Tay?
What's good, my baby? Hey, man, I'm feeling good. I feel like when you're coming out of high school, going into college after that right now. I feel like I'm on my recruiting trip.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's love, man. I mean, he said it though. That's basically what he said is what we've always talked about. Is when you've been in the game for a long time, players come and go, coaches come and go, but every so often you have one of those those lifelong bonds that you feel get built in a short time. And he was one of those dudes. And like you said, we've always been the type of people where you can be a great dude, you can be a funny guy, you can have good vibes. But if you're a clown at work and you don't take your job serious, if you don't bring a certain intentionality to the game and to your personal, process daily, it's hard to really fully connect with somebody that's, I can assure you Michael Jordan wasn't vibing with dudes that weren't, or wasn't allowing it, first of all, but definitely wasn't vibing with guys that didn't have the same ideologies he had, towards the game. So that's something that we let really organically connect us. And right out the gate, we could have just forced it, Cali boys, and started kicking it and all of that. But it really just organically happened and started spending more time together the more we started learning. And then every time we kicked it, it was just pure vibes and connected on whether it was the film. We're going through our phones. I'm showing him tape of practice for the last 8 years, and he going in his phone showing me the same stuff from, his 5th year in Jacksonville. And I remember in my mind some of these plays that were from the games too, just seeing it. I'm like thinking about where I was at that time. I'm like, damn, I was kind of I was a young puppy back then. So, to obviously get the opportunity to connect, like it was special. And, we probably became even better friends since splitting and going opposite ways, him going to Chicago, me going to Vegas. So, but yeah, it's for life now for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up too, as far as our connection and how it's grown. After being on different teams, it's allowed like that void of not being together damn near every day. It's allowed us to connect in a different way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a tribute to how we connected when we were on the team. Like you said, Cap, it was super organic, and the way we navigate is kind of the same. Like, we'll both recognize, like, okay, real recognize real, but like if it's not organic and if it's not, how do I put this?
You got to be natural.
It has to be natural. And like we were literally like 2 or 3 lockers apart from each other, but every time we passed each other, it was just real. The way we saw things, it was just real. And then, you know, at one point, it was just like, yo, like I'm literally at his house 4 days a week. You know what I mean? And
right, and living with me to start the season.
Yeah, and then living with him for camp. You know what I mean? So, you know, I babysat his daughter one time while he had to go do something. Like, you know, I'm truly grateful for, you know, the prospects that the NFL has given me. But I can say that, you know, one of my, you know, something that really makes me proud is being your brother and knowing that, like, if you ever needed anything, I will be there. So, again, man, I appreciate you taking this time, bro.
Yeah, you already know, man. You already nothing I'd rather do.
No doubt.
So I got to ask you a question. Playing in Green Bay, the two of you, with Aaron Rodgers, and I've told Big Dog, like, I'm all Bears. I've hosted their post-game show for 2 decades, and I do all this Bears coverage, yet I've got this affinity for Aaron Rodgers. I told Big Dog, I want to sit down and talk to that dude. I've always liked him because of the way that he's just real. And there you guys are, kicking the living shit out of the Bears on a regular basis. I think Matt LaFleur now is 11-0 in his career as the head coach of the Packers against Chicago. What was that rivalry like for you, Tay? Because down here, people are just sickened by it.
Yeah, no, it's something that you get bred into. I realized right away, because especially when I came in, like, you got to think about what that team looked like. Now this league, I won't say unfortunately, but in some ways it's unfortunate. This league is run by young guys now. You know, like every locker room, you walk through the locker rooms and it's a bunch of young guys that they would rather, you know, be, even if they're a little bit less talented or less able to, you know, get the job done, they rather pay a lot of these guys less money than paying a vet. So that's just the way that this is kind of going. You pay the guys that earn the big bucks, they get the big bucks, and then you got to try to fill it in with the other ones. But what you lose in that is some of the realness that created this league. You know what I mean? Like, dudes weren't necessarily worried about, like, Bill Parcells, like, getting in trouble by him. They were more worried about, you know, who their teammates were. And at that time, like, I came in and it was Clay Matthews, BJ Raji, Julius Peppers, you know, Morgan Burnett, Sam Shields. Like, I had some real dogs that I was playing for. So I feel like a lot of the way that guys are, the way that guys lead now is starting to get watered down, and you're losing some of the, you know, the realness of it. And I came in and I realized that this is what a true rivalry is. I'm thinking about, like, Fresno State versus, like, Boise State or San Jose State, and it's just a whole different type of, you know, war, basically. You know, the fans hate us, we hate them, and it's just how it goes. And being brought up and playing them, I think it was like it might have been my 3rd game of my career, 4th game, we played the Bears in Chicago. So starting off my career and seeing, like, this is what a real rivalry is like, and knowing that we had been, you know, basically taking care of them for the, you know, definitely recently, but just all time as well. That gave me a different type of initiative to, you know, be on my stuff when it was time to play them. So it's definitely a unique rivalry.
I mean, Tay has more time on task as far as that's concerned, but obviously from the outside looking in, when I was in Jacksonville, like, I understand it, you know. And so when I got there, you know, it was easy for me to just step right in, plug and play, understanding what the rivalry was all about, and then actually being a part of, like, a real rivalry. Like, when I was in Jacksonville, I don't know who our rivalry was.
You didn't have one.
Like, is it Houston? Is it Tennessee?
Indy?
Like, I don't know. I would say maybe Tennessee, because I think you know, in the heydays when I was like younger and really catching the ball at a higher clip, Tennessee was like one of the most physical teams. It was us and Tennessee in that division as two of the most physical teams. And then you had Houston, who was more Kubiak, outside zone, more like San Francisco, right? So they looked like San Francisco in the way they like ran their plays. And at that time who was it? Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, Owen Daniels. They were getting after it. But they were more finesse and more smoke and mirrors and window dressing and made it look good. And Tennessee was more just power eye, ISO, hit you in the mouth. And that's how we were. And so I would say Tennessee, but nothing like Chicago and Green Bay. Like going to Chicago for the first time and like being in that rivalry, you could just feel it when you walked in, and they absolutely hated us. And it was just one of those things. Once you got out there, you know, you knew it was game time. And if I'm not mistaken, Tate, didn't you, the year where you had, was it like 20-something touchdowns? Didn't you get the record in Chicago?
That's when I got 18 in Chicago. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to 18 in Chicago, and I remember that because I ran a slant on Kyle Fuller on the right side, and then I came back inside, and I don't know if you remember what happened to me in 2017 when we played the Bears at home. Got smacked by Trevathan and sent me to the hospital. Trevathan. Yeah,
and I wasn't even on the team yet.
Yeah, you weren't there yet. That's why I say I don't know if I know you would have remembered if you was there for sure. So I went on the slant and I'm going inside, and I ran it kind of quick, so he wasn't really ready to throw it yet. So when I'm going inside, I beat Kyle, but I feel that backer starting to feel me moving over there, and lo and behold is Trevathan. And then I think in his head, honestly, I don't even know if he's still playing right now. So I can say
he's retired.
I think in his head he was thinking like I'm about to tattoo him, but he was in the back of his head was kind of like I can't hit this dude like this again. So I kind of got away with one because in the field or something, I feel like normally that would have been a bang bang play, and maybe I don't even know if I would have held on to it, but I was glad he had second thoughts about that one because that was an easy one.
Can you name the last time the Bears beat the Packers? You were in the game.
Last time the Bears beat the Packers, that had to have been when did all right. Was it before 2018?
It was 2018.
Okay, that's what
that was when Mitchell Trubisky clinched the division title at 12-4, 24-17 at Chicago.
In Chicago, I remember.
They haven't won since.
Yeah, y'all defense was rolling that year. That was
with Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Mack was going crazy. That was the year that y'all almost beat us twice because we
started the
game of the year
in the year, and Aaron did the Paul Pierce and came back out there in the wheelchair.
Yes. Yo, they started him off. We're like, this game's over. It was a Sunday night football game.
Yeah,
Bruh,
yeah.
I remember that game vividly because that was my first season in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was week 1, wasn't it?
Yes.
Week 1.
And then that's when I got like a true taste of what it was going to be like, right? Like half the games are on primetime TV. You know what I mean? Every game matters. Everybody's watching all the time.
Right.
A-Rod goes to the locker room, comes back out, this heroic Superman situation. I'm like, yo, what did I just get myself into?
You done jumped into a movie you didn't even know.
Bruh.
Crazy.
Nah.
Yeah, that was
it's crazy, bro.
Score at the half, Bears were winning 17-0.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. We were all at home. I'll never forget. Beat their ass. And then all of a sudden, that dude comes out of the locker room, off the cart, game over.
And you know what, too? You can kind of like just put this in perspective. That happened that year, right? Chicago's defense was stout, doing their thing. A-Rod gets hurt, comes back. Obviously, we win that game, but then they win at their crib. And so you think from that point on, it's going to be like this back and forth battle. Then you get Matt LaFleur in there, right? A dude who like mentally, when it comes to X's and O's, he's just different, right? And he just understands matchups and stuff like that. And that offense that he runs, and you throw A-Rod in there, and he's bringing his old offense, and now we got these two different offenses that are kind of merging, where like no matter what you do on defense, it's not going to matter. And then for that whole period of time, it doesn't even look like Chicago should be on the same field. You know what I mean? Like, it's really crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean,
Brutal.
Honestly, bro, like when I think back, I feel like that kind of just proves that once you get winning, whether it's against a certain team or like everybody got that player or a team in their mind that like if you played in the league or at any level where you just got kind of mind control over that person. And you know what I mean? Like that's basically what it was like when we stepped in there. Like it don't matter what the season was going like with the previous game, you know, we could have looked shitty on offense, but now we playing the Bears. Like, come on now. Like you a hooper, Mercedes, you know, you get the ball in your hand. You're like, who is this dude guarding me? I'm about to, this is not, you should not be guarding me, and this is going to be easy. So that was kind of the feeling we had. Kay asked me last week on her show if I would ever go to the Bears, and I said no.
Why?
I can't do it at this point, especially after making that comment. I don't think they'll ever want me. Like, even if they was the only team that maybe did want me, they're not gonna want me now. But I don't know. I just felt like that was out of my Packer loyalty. I did almost a dime in Green Bay, so I just felt like I don't know. And you know, I've dealt with what I've been dealing with over the past 3 years. It's been a lot of losing, and I'm looking forward to winning some games in the future. So I don't see the Bears in my future, and I'm optimistic. Honestly, I didn't see that, especially how you guys started the year off. I wasn't in my mind thinking that that's that was going to be how everything went, similar to our year. But football is a crazy game, man. It's not about how good you are; it's about how good you play. And if you don't play right or play good enough at the right times, then now you're a bad team. So that's the difference. We in 22, my first year with the Raiders, we basically played how the Chiefs are playing this year, but they're just winning all those games like that, and we lost those games. Right. It wasn't like we were just walking in and people just steamrolling us, and we just like it was just a terrible showing out there. Like we really put some good stuff on tape, and it just so happened that when it was time to finish, like I think the first like quarter and a half of the season, we probably lost all the games we lost by a total of like 11 points. You know what I mean? Like literally it was like 1, 2, 3 point games. And it's like, brutal. Oh my God, they can't win. They suck. But it's like, if we won those games just barely, if by chance, you would say that we are amazing. So it's, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just the margin of victory is like that. And you just gotta find a way to win them.
Yeah, no, that's, I think you hit it right on the nose, man. Like, at one point we're 4-2, feeling good about ourselves, coming in, meetings, popping in meetings, like everything is cool. You're on a bye week. And then you come back and then it's just.
Then the Hail Mary happened.
Man, it shifts just like that.
Yeah. So what was I'm glad you brought that up because we haven't even talked about that. So not that you gotta, put anybody on blast or whatever, but like just what was that whole what was said? Like did you say something? What was the coach talking about? Because that whole thing. The funny thing, before you even say anything, this is why I'm laughing. The man was doing whatever he was doing over there.
Tyreek Stevenson.
You could get mad all you want. That boy went over there and made a play on the ball. He got over there and hit the ball, just hit it up. That would have been so cold if he would have just knocked it down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, he's in the corner. He's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that was an interesting play.
So let's start I'll give you from like 2 possessions or a possession, or let's just say 2 possessions before that actually happened. We march down. The pressure is as high as it's going to get, right? And it's just like, all right, we have to score, and we're moving the ball. We're just not punching it in, right? Mm-hmm. So we get the ball, we go down there and get to like the 2-yard line, and then we put our extra lineman back there, hand him the ball. He fumbles on like the 1. They get the ball.
Back up center.
What in the Detroit Lions is going on?
Bro, I was sick. Mind you, the dude that's in front of me, I crush him. And I'm thinking like he's gonna get the ball, run right off my block. I already play. You know how we do it, bro. You step up to the line. I've already played the game in my mind for all my plays that I have. I already know what's gonna happen because I control that. Like I dictate that. So I'm like, okay, here we go. This is about to be another one of those. I'm gonna get a pancake. It's gonna look good.
Right.
He's gonna run right off my block. I'm already like ready to celebrate. I pancake my guy. I hear everybody going crazy, and I'm like, oh hell yeah! I'm looking like this, and then I see the lineman that was supposed to have the ball. He looks embarrassed. Doesn't have the ball. I'm looking like this. They have the ball.
Not embarrassed.
This cannot be happening, bro. So fast forward, that happens. We get the ball again. We drive down again. We end up scoring.
With 31 seconds left.
Punch the ball in, 31 seconds. And like, mind you, that game, back and forth, and obviously the magnitude of it, because it was like they're doing really well. Jaden Daniels is rolling. Caleb is starting to step into his light. You know what I mean? It was just like this back and forth thing. We hadn't done like, we weren't really good in situational ball up until that point, up until the end of that game. We just had a bunch of misfires and shit like that. And I was like, okay, here we go. Like, this is going to say a lot about our team. We get down there, fumble. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't blink. Get the ball again. Go down there, score. I'm like, okay. After this game, like, this is our identity. Like, this is, we're building that. You know how it is. Like, if you're able to win games like that and, like, especially against a good team, a rookie star at quarterback on the other team that everybody's just, like, gloating over, it's like, okay, this is going to be a good thing. We come out there. They run two plays. We don't call a timeout.
And have three.
Or three plays that we
all
three
timeouts, yeah.
And we don't use one of them. And I'm on the sideline. I'm like, all right, in my gut, I'm like, this is not feeling good because those first two chunk plays, they got too many yards after that. Once they get up closer to the 50, I'm like, bro, they got a chance to throw a Hail Mary. Like, what are we doing? Why are we playing so far off when they're like on the 25 at first? And I'm like, you know how it is when you played enough ball, bro. And I'm just like, they still have to make the Hail Mary, but in my gut, it just didn't feel right. They get back there. We line up for the Hail Mary. Obviously, Tariq is off to the sideline. I'm on the sideline looking at Tariq do shit to the crowd. I'm like, what are we doing? I had never seen nothing like that in my life. And I'm like, this can't be happening. The ball is in the air, bro. And like, it was almost like a dream or a nightmare at this point. But I saw the ball in the air, and for some reason, it just looked like their setup was better than ours if the ball got tipped the right way. Like, you just know.
Right.
I'm just like, where's Tariq? He's not even in the picture yet because he's supposed to be set up. Because if he's there, he catches the flight of the ball and he can just jump up and knock it down.
Right.
But yes, he's athletic. So when you're running from here, yeah, you can catch the flight of the ball, but everybody else is in position to knock it down. So if you're running in late, they're not in position to make up for that, for you being out of position.
Right.
He runs in, and because he's not in position, he hits the ball and it doesn't go down because he's not in position to spike it down. He's running like this.
He's running too fast. He's not going to get enough lift.
And then they just happen to have a guy back, the tallest guy back there that's perfectly in his spot.
It was a movie, bro. I'm telling you, when I seen that, I sat there, I just literally went like this.
It was brutal, man.
I don't need to watch any more of this today.
Nah.
This is it.
I couldn't believe that happened. We get into the locker room, and I go up to Tariq. Obviously, you know me, bro. Like, I'm gonna lead from the front, and I'm not gonna dog nobody out. We all grown men at the end of the day, and like me like cussing him out or being disrespectful to him. Like, we're not gonna get nowhere doing that.
Right.
But I did go up to him, and I'm like, you know, shit happens, and fortunately, we're gonna have 10 more opportunities for you to go out there and show that that's not you, right? That's just an anomaly, and like you're gonna be better going forward. But in my mind, and I'm telling him, I'm like, I think that like you should probably apologize before it gets out of line, and then we can't do nothing about it. He was like, "No, I got you, big dog. I got you." And I think his mistake was going and apologizing on Twitter first versus in the locker room.
Yeah.
So when we got on the bus, shit was popping up on my phone, like everybody going in on him, but he's apologizing on Twitter. I don't think that was the best move. I think
address the people you directly affected first before you try to save face.
Yeah. And I think from that aspect, I think that's where he went wrong first. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Obviously, we had our team meeting. He got up and apologized and did that whole thing. And you can tell that it was like so uncomfortable. The elephant in the room Monday for meetings. It was just, I felt bad for him because what is this, his second year? Like he's still trying to figure it out and learn how to be a pro and what it's like having adversity in the NFL. It's not easy, bro. And we've all went through it. If you don't handle it the right way, there's going to be blood in the water. It's going to be harder to get back on that horse, to be who you know you are.
Right.
And, I've watched it ruin people's career. And I think as a team, we've done a good job of just putting our arm around him, but who knows where he really is, like, mentally at this point, and we're not winning games. So,
well, you would hope people would be wise enough to not make certain mistakes, but at the end of the day, he is a young dude and it's a learning experience. I can guarantee you he'll finish the game out before, there won't be any premature celebrating, especially not during the play as you move forward. And, that might have made him a little bit more, humble moving forward. So good little lesson.
So I have a question for you. How much do you like Taco Bell? Because I was telling you before you came on, my 81-year-old father-in-law, look at that. There's his hoodie. It says Taco Bell.
Correct.
My 81-year-old father-in-law, we're watching, and there's the ad with you with the Taco Bell in your house and the whole deal. And he's like, that's my favorite player right there. I'm like, why do you like Davante Adams so much? He's like, because I love Taco Bell, and that dude looks like I would like to sit down and have dinner with him. That's what he said.
Well, I'm glad. Honestly, at this point, when people come up to me, when they notice me, whenever I am in public or, in passing or whatever, anytime somebody says something, it's 50-50 on if they got respect for my game or my acting, honestly. So
it's really well done.
It's been a lot. I mean, that all the commercials get so much play during the games. So if you watch any football, if you're on any ESPN, you're going to see it. So I've been places that people they'll see and they'll say, "Oh my God, I love the Taco Bell thing. Like, how did that come about?" And I'm telling them how, and they're confused. All of a sudden, you find out this person has no idea that I'm a Davante Adams, the football player. They think it's just I'm some paid actor they put in Taco Bell just randomly sponsored like Jake from State Farm or something. So they didn't know that I came from something else.
Did you always like Taco Bell and your people went to them, or it was fine and they came to you and how did that happen?
No, speaking of organic, this is the definition of it. I don't know if you can hear my son. Can you hear him in the background screaming or no? Okay, good. He's going crazy downstairs. But speaking of organic, Taco Bell was like my McDonald's to everybody growing up, dollar menu and all that. I was a big Taco Bell dude. It wasn't a big Mickey D's, Wendy's and all that. I love Taco Bell. So one of my best friends, Nick Robinson, he does my marketing. One of his mentors was the CMO for Jordan Brand. And he knew he was getting ready to be the CMO and move over to Taco Bell. So when he moved there, he got with Nick and we obviously worked something out. And that's when the marketing thing started. And then when the CEO of Taco Bell stepped down and made Alex Tresvant, who was the CMO, boosted him up to be the CEO now of Taco Bell. So basically, and once that first year happened, it was just so much good feedback from the initial commercials and all the social stuff. People loved it. They loved the creativity, the little spins that I try to put my own, personality in it, and working with them on the commercials and all of the stuff that you see in the public has been real easy, just because they basically allowed me to be myself. And I feel like those are that's organic for me. So not being in something where I'm just doing it just to endorse it, like I'm endorsing some stupid product. Like Taco Bell is near and dear to my heart, and it was growing up. So
it's awesome
to be, to have one of my best friends that works for me, have a connection with somebody that's the CEO at Taco Bell now. it really just worked out perfect.
And shout out to Nick too. That's my guy.
Oh yeah, nah, we just re-upped this year too. So Nick's staying. He's still on his job while working for Nike, dealing with Brown and doing all that. So he balancing a lot.
Nah, I mean, Nick is. I mean, Nick is a dude. I like Nick, and that kind of like reminds me of like when I first met Nick, Cap. Like again, we just hit it off, and like it was mainly about talking about ball. You know what I mean? And like we started having a conversation about Davante's passion for football, and then obviously I was telling him how talking about my passion for ball, and it's just a good working relationship, man. I'm ecstatic, bro.
Absolutely.
Could you be playing if he does this for another year? That'll be 20 seasons in the NFL. Could you see yourself doing that?
I see myself retiring before him.
Wow.
So that should answer your question. I won't be playing football for near 20 years. I'll tell you that. It's been 11. Basically, we got one more game, and that'll wrap up my 11th. And your boy is it's a lot of miles, man. A lot of miles. I've been through a lot, injury wise. Thank God. It could have been worse and could be worse. So I won't complain. But just the reality is, especially I think the hardest part really at this point is just really starting off the way I did in Green Bay. Obviously, being blessed in a situation with a winning organization and being blessed with so many great players I got to play with, and having success as a team. Not that I took it for granted, but just having that feeling and having that security, knowing we were going to be a good team and win games. That's what makes it toughest at this point, is having that. Like that's what I know. I won't say that's all I know, because lately all I know is the opposite of that, unfortunately. But that's all I knew, and it kind of feels like a drug a little bit. Once you get it, it's like that. Like if you're going to be doing it, like you want that feeling. So
you're chasing that high.
What'd you say? Chasing that high.
high.
Exactly, bro. I feel like I'm not even gonna say what I feel like, but yeah, that's the hardest part. I think at this point is trying to find a home. Like I'm not trying to be bouncing all over the league, moving around team to team to try to find somewhere to win a Super Bowl and to, obviously try to continue my own success. So it's really just gonna come down to probably this next year, play another year for me, and then be able to evaluate where we are, and then. I think after playing another season, I'll kind of have a really good idea of how much longer I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Cat, this dude, man, like I hear him talking like this right now about like, just going through a lot and doing all this. I don't know if I've ever been on a team with a guy that wins almost every rep. I would say 97% of the time he wins, right? And it starts in practice. And that other 3% is from wind conditions. The ball might get tipped at the line of scrimmage.
The variables.
Yeah, like the variable change, right? Like other than that, I've never seen nobody win at the clip that he wins at. So it would truly shock me if he retired after a year. Like obviously I'm not in your body. I feel like you still have at least a good 4 or 5. And that might be wishful thinking, because you're my favorite player to watch. You know what I mean? So like Cap, literally, like before I'm playing, like I'm on my phone, like in my locker, just watching his games. If I see him go down, I'm shooting him a text. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's I truly root for you, man, as a football player, a person, family man. Love you, bro. I appreciate you being on the show, bro.
Yeah, you already know, bro. You already know, man.
By the way, before we let you go, so Tommy Waddle, who's a former Bears receiver, big broadcaster in town, does a show here on our channel. Tommy Waddle said, I played wide receiver in the National Football League. He goes, I made the All-Madden team, had a nice career, played for Coach Ditka. He said, the best route runner I have ever watched, and I've studied them all, is Davante Adams. It ain't even close.
It's not close, man.
That's love. That's love, man. That means a lot, and obviously it means more coming from people that truly know the game and
Yep.
and know the position, and if not the position, even playing, tight end and having experience with just knowing the biomechanics of what I do and what I've put into, studying to be able to, it's not, I don't just go out there and aimlessly and just rely on quickness and speed and strength. It's a whole preparation that goes into it, and that has gone into the way that I practice. And I've kind of put a formula together just based off of my observation over time. And I felt like obviously I hit a really good stride in Green Bay where I was figuring I can still obviously get better. So what's the ways that I can get better? Obviously I can only get so quick. I'm gonna keep working on that, working on the footwork and all that. But I feel like the cerebral approach is what the approach that I take that not very many people can match. Just because you can try to study, but if you don't know how to study, if you don't know what the best way is to study and what are you studying? I'm looking at the DBs to find out exactly. I've tried to get this down to a science to where I can make you, when I'm jumping off the ball and I'm hopping off the line, I'm making you do something with your feet, and I'm trying to put my feet back in the ground before you get a certain step back in the ground. Like I'm trying to think about it. In golf they got a term, aim small, miss small.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to put this right by the hole. That way, if you got 20-foot putt, you feel good about two putting that. So that's me. I'm trying to kill you every single play. And if that means just getting open by a yard or two, then we'll settle for that and make something shake with that too. So I just take a lot of pride in what I do, and that's why I've always been a big component of sharing my knowledge. Einstein didn't just learn about gravity and keep it to himself. That wouldn't have did as much. So I try to get with the younger guys, get with guys around the league, and share the knowledge that I have, because it's a receiver's game, it's a passing game now, and you seeing guys come in, especially out of LSU these days. I don't know what the hell they got going on.
Wow.
Out of training table, you got Brian Thomas now that people thought was good, but like didn't know how good, and turns out he about to be a star and take over the league. So I'm always trying to help out other guys, because I wasn't blessed with the 4.2, 4.3 speed. So I really had to figure out a way to consistently, win and be reliable out there. And having dudes like Sadie's, dudes like Aaron, they kind of took my attention to detail to another level too, seeing how he goes about his business. It may not necessarily be the route running emphasis, but the onus that he takes in his job, like that's what I've always looked forward to, having teammates that take the job that serious. Because if everybody's got that same mindset and same, like I said before, intentionality to what they're doing, then now you got a team that, it's obviously full of talent. So if everybody's that locked in, like you're gonna be a SOB to deal with. So
No doubt.
yeah, I thank guys like him and many other people that I've crossed paths with, but now I'm trying to, pay it forward.
Hey, I had one last one I wanted to ask you. Did Aaron truly love sticking it to Chicago fans?
Oh my God. I don't know if it was any greater feeling. You could hear it with the I own you. I'll never forget that one.
Bro.
That was probably one of the best ones I ever heard. That and I think back in like 2011 when he first brought out the belt, he had that run on the right sideline in Lambeau, started skipping around the back of the end zone and gave him the belt. So I think that if he could play one more game in a Packers uniform, I think he'd pick the Bears as his opponent for sure. And I'd be real scared for the Bears in that situation.
Yeah, I would say so. Hey man, thank you for taking time for the big dog and coming on our show. It's been awesome. You're a hell of a football player.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man. And Sadie's, you already know what it is. I appreciate
you, my dog. Tell the family I said what's up, man. I'll holler at you this week, man. Love you, bro.
Got you, bro. Love you too, bro.
Take care.
Yep.
There he is. That's your guy, Davante Adams. Sunday up at Green Bay.
Here we go.
Got to find a way to win one.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? It's like, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, how good will we be if we just don't beat ourselves? You know what I mean? Like it's at least be in the game, right? Like at least be in the game to the fourth quarter if you're just doing what you practice to do, right? And like don't beat yourselves, like you give yourself a shot. I feel like we've gotten our own way more than any other team in this league this year. And it's unfortunate. It doesn't feel good. I think the worst part of this season has been knowing that we have more to give and what our expectations were and not fulfilling to our full potential collectively. I think that hurts the most. The wins and losses, it's going to be what it's going to be, right? Whether you win or lose, if you're playing up to your ability, you can go home, you can sleep at night. So I just think that let's just go out there, let's limit the mistakes, let's not hurt ourselves, and let's see what happens. You know, like
prep as hard as you can, and
let's
see where it goes.
Yeah, at this point, there's no expectation. We might as well just go out there and leave it all out there and see where the chips fall, man. That'd be great to get one though this weekend.
You're the best. There he is. That's Marcedes Lewis. Big thanks to Davante Adams. I'm David Kaplan. Have a great rest of your New Year's Eve. Have a great, healthy, happy 2025, and bear down.
Happy New Year.
I swear I shoot like Berettas. Yeah. They getting nervous, I seen it. What I seen wouldn't